Okay, so let me stick my neck out here. I've seen the first episode. I thought it was pretty good. How do I put this? Perpetually wrong person. Yeah, I guess has some apparently fans of the show Velma on HBO Max are saying it's a terrible show, which I this actually stuck out to me mainly because right before I got on stream today, we actually watched the first episode. I thought it was pretty good. I was like, this is funny. I enjoyed this. So I call it here since I'm not a real fan. I didn't grow up watching Scooby Doo. I didn't grow up in like the '90s watching Scooby Doo. That's that. I have no history of history with Scooby Doo as a character or as a franchise. So there's no way that I'm gonna So let's take a look. Let's take a look at what fans like me say about this.
Jeremy here from the Quartering, and the new HBO Max show, the show that nobody asked for, show that nobody wanted.
I don't know. I haven't asked for a new Scooby Doo show since I was 7. So, also, most people don't know what they want. If you, it's funny. If you ask people what they want, they're gonna say sequels or like spin-offs. Because if you ask them what they want, they'd be like, "Well, I don't really know because I don't make movies or TV shows. I work at Best Buy. Like, if you ask me what I want, I just want something to watch. Most people just want something to watch."
Is out, and we have a brand new trailer from Velma.
It is
a ridiculous self-insert vanity project by Mindy
isn't
Kaling,
this,
who basically has ever done one good thing, and that was
this was 4 hours ago. The show is, you can watch the first 2 episodes. You don't have to watch a trailer, my friend. You can just watch the first 2 episodes.
Written a few good episodes of The Office. Every other project she seems to be weird self-inserts and vanity projects, and nobody wanted this Velma show, and the entire internet. It's one of those rare, rare scenarios where
the entire
critics
internet
and fans agree that the show looks like trash. We're getting into all that after a super quick word from this video sponsor, Private Internet Access.
No. Okay, so let me stick my neck out here. I've seen the first episode. I thought it was pretty good. I was like, it's very self-aware. Seems fine. I enjoyed the first episode. This wasn't. I don't watch kids animation. Well, actually, that's also the thing. This show isn't intended for kids. This isn't like a kid show. This is for adults. This is a kind of similar if you've ever watched like the Harley Quinn show that's also on HBO Max. It's good. It's in that same vein. It's adult animation, which the Harley Quinn show I also really, really enjoy. So
more content. I want to start with the trailer, which is always in. You know that they have a ton of faith in the show and the trailer when they disable the comments on launch. There's also some curious,
could it possibly be that people like you just hate bomb things and they'd kind of prefer to let people watch the show without having to wade through a toxic pool beforehand? Is that possible? Could it be that? Could it be that? Could it be that?
Some curious numbers here going on here, okay? It has 2.3 million views.
Yep, a lot of people
now,
watch
many
things.
of these are probably bought and paid for, like they did advertising or whatever.
Cringe take.
But with
Cringe
2.3 million views, the trailer only has 7,200 upvotes.
Sure.
That
also,
interaction
that's not an
rate
upvote.
Doesn't jive. So we break out our handy, trusty tool that reveals to us what the number of dislikes are. And that number is currently 147,000.
Whoa.
147
out of 2.3 million, only 150,000 interacted with the thumbs up or thumbs down button. Like, yeah, the thumbs up, thumbs down button aren't really that relevant to a degree. I mean, they are kind of, but also, again, when we live in an age where the not just the not just like people these days, people in 2023, unfortunately, do not simply watch a trailer and like go, is it good or bad? Especially now, there are active campaigns for downvoting and like basically review bombing, hate bombing things that people have political issues with. A good example of this is like The Last of Us, Part Two, where there were leaks that were not really that had elements of correctness, but there was a lot of what's the word, like there was a lot of misinfo in those leaks. There was a lot of jumbled information that people kind of cobbled together to get an idea of what the game was about. And because of that, you had people on like Metacritic, as a good example, go and like hate bomb The Last of Us Part 2, even though they clearly had never played the game. And it became a case where, like, you know, and it's same for like Captain Marvel and a few of these other properties, where the more conservative leaning and more kind of I don't even know if I want to say conservative, it's like the more traditional nerd leaning fan base has a vested interest in watching properties they would have previously supported do poorly, because they find now that these properties that they've grown up with, that they think that they like own in terms of being a fan of, you know, they go and, you know, they'll just review bomb something in the hopes that it drives motivation from studios, from you know, heads of what's the word, heads of any of these companies making decisions, hoping that it drives them to not make the types of shows that these very specific nerds don't like. At the end of the day, this is the kind of gatekeeping that nerds and other kind of you know, like I say nerds, but like I grew up, I grew up before you know, the MCU, before like comic book movies were like fucking everywhere, and before everybody was a fucking comic nerd. I grew up in an age, at least early on, because those movies didn't come out until like '08. But I grew up in an age that was a lot like nerd meant like was a, to a degree, a derogatory term. Being somebody who was into comics, being somebody who was into you know, into like Dungeons and Dragons, people who are into fantasy or science fiction or any of these things were looked at in a with a, you know, a negative stereotype of being uncool, being you know, which usually those stereotypes came from insecure, like people who are insecure, because at least for the most part, I'm okay with saying, like, people who are nerdy, people who are into this stuff, generally did really well in school, usually did very well when it came to educational acumen. And, you know, there are people who, you know, you got to find some way to make yourself feel better. So pick on the kid who's good at school and maybe you're not, and, you know, just kind of degrade him for his interests. That's kind of the environment that we grew up in for a lot of like the 90s and early 2000s. Then what the fuck? On his farm, humans get impregnated to produce milk. What the fuck are your suggestions, dude? Um Fast forward to more of today, and a lot of people are a lot more open, but also just a lot more you know, free to kind of enjoy the things that they want to enjoy, right? These days you can be into comics, you can be into really mostly anything, and you're not going to catch a lot of flack for it, just from inherently being into something that's looked upon as being like uncool, and anything like that, right? So, and because of that, we saw um this, I think, need to gatekeep, being nerdy or being like a geek, or whatever it is. There was a clear need by people to gatekeep that around, the start to build walls around that identity, because they found that more people, as more people identified as, we kind of saw this early on, where it's like, is she a real like girl gamer or whatever. Like, there was that conversation. Nowadays, because being into kind of what, nerdy stuff, nowadays, since it's not really all that it's not really that interesting, or should I say, it's not as uncommon. Because of that, there is a stripe of nerd that has taken it upon themselves to gatekeep their interests behind these kind of traditional values that used to target them. These values on masculinity. Nerds did not fit into strong masculine, character, outlines, or figures, right? Like nerdy guy, like the jocks were not into comics. Now you have anybody. Jocks are now into. Everybody's into superheroes. Everybody's into science fiction. So like, these nerds ended up building these walls around themselves. And again, this isn't most people who are into this stuff. This is people like the Quartering, who needed to build these defenses to keep themselves isolated, because at the end of the day, like, they liked their little social circle, their little geeky social circle, and they never want to move on from that. That's why he's got that DeLorean in his background. It, like the Lego DeLorean thing, and he's got the Ghostbusters one, because at the end of the day, all of this stuff in his mind is his. He gets Ghostbusters, not you. When they make a Ghostbusters, but girls are in it, how that's supposed to be mine. You get your own thing. It's childish, and it's really like small-minded, in my opinion. It's just it's this weird thing where, like, nerds who identify themselves as getting beat up and shoved in lockers by like jocks, now now they've found this space on the internet where now they get to be the strong figures who get to shove other people into metaphorical lockers. Like it's just sad. It's just sad, really. It's people who build an identity around around their shared malignment by like the rest of society, and now it's them lashing back out now that they perceive themselves to be at the top of culture, which unfortunately they never really realize they're not. Your little, like, your version of Ghostbusters is your version, but Ghostbusters does not belong to nerds from the 1980s. The same way Back to the Future doesn't. The same way Pokemon doesn't belong to me. As much as I don't like as much the new Pokemon, it doesn't belong to me. Like, the stuff we grew up with and built identities around and built hobbies and interests around aren't ours. I know we have attachment to them. Like, me and my friends constantly text about who would win in fights between DC and Marvel heroes. It's like a constant thing we do. And that's like geeky and nerdy, sure. But I'm not going to sit here and tell people and pretend that, like, some people don't get to join in that conversation because they're not nerdy enough, or I don't perceive them to have as much knowledge as me. It's just fucking, it's gatekeepy. It's cringy. I've spent too much time on this already. The type of person the Quartering is, though, I've met before, and you're a disappointment. And quite frankly, you're a negative mark for the people you identify with.
7,000 people came together to press that dislike button, while a pathetic 7,200 liked the trailer. And look, it's not
imagine thinking people came together,
giving it a 19%. It premieres today. So I don't know.
Like,
you know, this is
imagine
obviously early
imagine thinking
sentiment.
everybody
I don't
got
think
together,
many
which should
in the
also
audience
tell
have seen
you,
it yet, or maybe
which should
they
also kind of tell you how his mind works, because he knows he comes together with nerds to hate on stuff that they don't like and that they think shouldn't be made. Most normal people just watch a thing and call it a day, but to him it's a campaign. So also keep that in mind. He thinks there's a campaign to like the show. It's just people liking the show.
could. Maybe it started last night on midnight. But they paid enough money to put this trailer on trending, by the way. It's number 13 on trending. Talk about astroturfing, right? Like absolute just fake hype.
Wait, how would it be if
It
you
only
have
has a 60%.
if you have 100,000
tomato,
if you
the
have
critic tomato
what was
review.
that number? Somewhere
Meaning
around
one more-
160,000 people.
One more negative review and it's going to be rotten.
Wait, you can't add. Wait, it would be trending if it's getting a lot of attention, positive or negative. Positive or negative attention will get you on trending. We do not live in a world where any kind of engagement, where only positive engagement gets you trending. You get trending if there's any engagement whatsoever, negative or positive. That's not a conspiracy.
Like even CNN, sporadically witty, but ultimately rather tedious. Joshua Alston of Variety, another left-leaning outlet. It's been done before and much better, using unique takes on the gang that maintain their essence. Fallon Edwards, Mashable, another left-wing media outlet. All the pieces of a great Scooby spinoff are here, so why does it not come together?
Uneven humor.
Face Magazine, a hodgepodge of ideas that never connect. Hollywood Reporter, too much meta humor, not enough heart.
There is a lot of meta humor in it. I've only seen one
that's the
episode, but there
Marvel
is a
world,
lot of
right.
There's a lot of meta humor.
Cringe meta jokes nonstop.
Oh yeah, that's also why the quartering doesn't like Marvel movies anymore, because Marvel movies went from being the thing that nerds are into to the thing that everybody is into, and because of that change, quartering wasn't interested now, because more people liked it and people that he didn't liked it. Then he was like, the minute the jock was like, oh, I actually really liked Iron Man, he go, the quartering was like, Iron Man is my thing. That's supposed to be my thing. Fucking Christ.
Nonstop. And if you look at even this article here on Gizmodo, another left-wing media outlet. I feel redundant saying that because they're all basically that. But the vibe...
It is a bit redundant to just constantly paint everything as liberal media. That is true.
Trailer is 10 years too late. What do you mean? She's totally gay, so that's awesome, right? And the black guy does drugs. Cool. I mean, you see, Velma was recently featured in her queer glory, because this is the only reason they're actually making this, right? Is for more LGBT propaganda. I'm over it. I've stopped caring. I've stopped giving these people the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, they find LGBT propaganda. Yes, yeah.
We were hoping for more of that without her questioning her own orientation, the crushes on her friends as part of the comedy, which looks to be a step back this upcoming series. The very first thing they talk about on this show is who she sleeps with. That's all they care about. That's all the media cares about.
Wait, are they talking about the first thing that the reviewers talk about? Because the first thing that happens is in the show is they acknowledge, like, is they talk about television tropes, and like the first episode, the first scene of the show is about television tropes. Like that. Okay.
And that's all the writers cared about. The new trailer for the adult animated series reveals a comedy that feels decidedly retro, outdated. What do you mean?
Why doesn't he just watch the show?
Are funny in the year 2023?
I feel like this is one of those things where people.
420.
This is
it. Weed.
Like, this is one of those things where I'm like, why don't you just like watch the show? Like, you could read a bunch of other people's opinions and just kind of comment, even though you've comment blindly on a show you've never watched. Why not just watch the show and just put a review out and be like, hey, I really wasn't into it. Like that's fine, But again, that's not the campaign that the quartering is on,
Yeah, ha 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 ha.
The quartering doesn't like gay people in his nerdy media because.
This from Canvas.
Is Scooby even in the show? He is in the first episode.
Add cringy dialogue and make all the characters unlikable, and you have the new Velma series in a nutshell. This trailer for the new Velma series has over 100,000 dislikes, which should pretty much tell you nobody wanted this. I mean, it has 7,000 upvotes. I'm not saying this to be a hater for the new Velma show, but dang, they messed up that quadratic formula. They labeled it the quadratic formula, and it's not the quadratic formula.
Don't you think that's kind of the joke? Because she's kind of dumb to a degree in the show. Like, everybody... Okay, we're just moving on. Like, that seems like kind of the joke. But okay.
If you didn't tell people this was Scooby-Doo, almost no one would be able to tell.
That's
Does
kind
this
of the
dialogue
point.
sound like any previous version of Shaggy and Velma would on how they would talk to each other?
Nope, that's kind of the point.
420 is, right?
Yeah, it's code for adults who still watch cartoons.
Also don't forget
Because stoners
Daphne
watch a lot
Brown
of
now.
cartoons.
She's no longer white. She's brown, so she can look
she's
exactly
brown,
like
oh my
Mindy Kaling.
god!
That's
Oh
the
my
cringiest part
God.
of it, maybe, is that this
Wait,
woman
that she's
is so
brown?
insecure. She holds an extremely powerful position in Hollywood. She gets to
Does
destroy
she?
whatever IP she wants to.
Yes.
She's already got a brown character out of 4, right? And she's like, well, Daphne's no.
Imagine looking at a show with like a scorecard and it's like white silhouette, like the bathroom, like white silhouette, and then like a like black silhouette. And you're just like, okay, this one's in the white category. That one's in the black category. No, too many in the black category. I don't like this. Is he gonna mention that Daphne's Asian in this?
But my character also has to be race swapped, so she looks just like me. Why not just call it the Mindy Kaling show then? You can say, this looks like garbage, holy ass. We wanted Harley Quinn audience. You're not going to get it. Thank God I'm only watching for Daphne, Fred, and the cheerleaders.
Wait, but if you're watching,
Like, everybody's just completely dunking on
but
this.
if you're watching, you dumbass.
The official HBO, the official Velma the series release of the trailer only got 2,000 likes.
Cool.
It got, and by the way, don't spend too much time on this hashtag because you just get too many prawn videos. Like,
Yeah, you're definitely
the
gonna
new
get
HBO Max
you're
Velma
definitely gonna
trailer
get
just dropped. No one
shitlords.
cares. How about this? Make the black person a druggie and the only white guy of the group a misogynistic twat. Representation matters. Also, love that Daphne is the dumb, rich, popular girl.
Wait a second. Again, this is what I mean. Watch the fucking show. Within the first. Okay, so I'm gonna make an assumption that when they say the black person a druggie, they're talking about Shaggy. At least in the first episode, like Shaggy's character doesn't do drugs. He like actively doesn't. He's like a fucking like nerd. Like, first of all. Second of all, white guy in the group be a misogynistic twat. First of all, Fred in the first episode is like having masculinity issues because he doesn't feel like he's living up to the masculine standard that his father has set for him. So like that is his whole thing in the first episode. That's his whole story. Like he's kind of an asshole, but not specifically about women. He's just an asshole. Doesn't really like. Let's see. Daphne is dumb. Yeah, dumb, rich, popular girl. Wasn't that always the thing with Daphne? Is that she was kind of the least bright, and she was rich and popular. Actually, I don't remember how like dumb or smart. I think it was always like she was supposed to be braver than what she was ready for, because that was the commentary in the live action movie, was that she didn't want to be like Daphne's whole thing was being a damsel in distress, and her in the live action movie was shirking that stereotype. So like, okay,
basic mannerisms of the crew. They really nailed it.
Oh
Hashtag
man,
/S.
it's like people who don't
Like, they're
watch
all
the
just,
show
like,
and then make
it's
critiques
so
of it.
lazy.
Oh hey, it's that guy.
It's so lazy.
Fucking okay. We're gonna pause for a second. Clouded with a Chance of Meatballs. Fucking great 2 movies. I love.
Nobody wanted this show. Period. Mindy Kaling is a one-woman wrecking crew of cringe. And,
I
look,
hope
it's fine.
I
It's
hope,
like-
Min-
it's
I
like
hope
always
Mindy
anyway.
Kaling
Okay,
gets the
it's not for me.
Ghostbusters
I
IP
didn't
next.
grow up personally attached to Velma. I watched Scooby-Doo when I was young, but like I don't think I ever really connected with it like the way. I'm trying to remember what era that would have been on. Like what else was.
How fucking dare you? As somebody who grew up watching Scooby-Doo almost nonstop, I think I get to say this. The Quartering, Jeremy, whatever the fuck your name is, shut the fuck up. You didn't watch Scooby-Doo. Please get the fuck out of my house. Get the fuck off my porch. Go the fuck away. Go back to whatever the fuck it is that you are into. Get the fuck out. Fucking over here.
Was I watching instead of Scooby-Doo? Maybe other Saturday morning cartoons. I probably liked maybe The Real Ghostbusters. Or
The
stuff like
real
that instead
fucking
of
go.
this.
Oh my god.
150,000
Oh my
dislikes
god. These
and
fucking
HBO
Gen
disabling
Xers.
comments.
Oh my
That's-
fucking
I mean,
god.
There's no other way to just
Like,
simply.
I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm so fucking sick and tired of hearing about Gen Xers who fucking grew up watching. Fuck ass cartoons that had almost no plot, and the only fucking reason why like they were even created was to sell them dumb fucking toys. Like, shut the fuck up. Your guys' TV shows fucking sucks. He-Man fucking sucks. Turtles actually pretty good. I'll give Ninja Turtles that. Get the fuck. I'm so fucking sick and tired of hearing about these fucking Gen X kids and their fucking shitty 80s cartoons. Guess what? Cartoons were better in the 90s. They got even better in the 2000s. Fucking deal with it. Fucking Jesus.
Admit defeat.
Fucking the real
like,
Ghostbusters.
You just say, no, we're not going to let people downvote our stuff thanks to YouTube.
Fucking, they're all toy commercials. Transformers fucking
and then we're
sucks.
Shut down comments because shut up, you want this. We don't want to hear that you don't want this.
You do know you're not like
again,
forced to watch
when you're talking about the likes and dislikes on these videos, forget the fact that
like,
we don't have,
you are,
that we typically can't see the number of dislikes.
If I had a choice, I would
only
lock
7,000
the
likes
quartering in a room
2.3 million views.
with the
this video
with
right
like
now
only the ability to watch this show and like maybe the finale of Game of Thrones. Like that's what I would really like to do.
Likes, and it'll have maybe 100,000 views. What an embarrassment! Keep pumping out the.
Jesus Christ! Hasn't even watched the show, but does a whole like 11-minute video about how bad it is. You know, say what you want. If you don't like the show, I really don't have a problem with that. Like, you don't like the show, you don't like the show. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. But like, oh no, we can't watch him at 1.25. But like, if you don't like, if you haven't seen it, then like, probably go watch it, maybe. And for any Last of Us 2 anti-fans, maybe go play it and then come talk to me. And, you know, like, it's just weird. The internet is made up of a lot of these people who don't actually engage with the media that they critique. And they just read every little detail about it. It's like, granted, it is the most nerdy fucking shit ever to read like fucking articles, to read like, to have your opinion dictated by a bunch of like random uncontextual non-context like statistics, like well, you see, the like to dislike ratio is under the threshold of 70%, so meaning that the show can by definition not be good, meaning nobody ever wanted it. Like, the show just got made. I think that might be my Jordan Peterson voice, I don't know, but people just make shows. Creators create shows. Artists create shows. Nobody is thinking about like making a show you want to watch specifically, because there's too many yous in the fucking world with too many different divergent tastes. So fuck's sake. God damn. This is what I mean when I'm like Gen X might just be the next vanguards of boomer style politics, because of like shit takes like this. Because like all these Gen X fucking kids all grew up to just be obsessed with the stuff that they all grew up on, like, you know, comic books and all the rest of it. It's the reason why cinema right now is all just fucking remakes, reboots, that's the reason. Because at the end of the day, that's the audience that's going to most of these movies. You know, they turn around and they bitch about it now, but like, you guys are the reason why all of this stuff is happening. So, you know, fucking like, you know the thing that they tell, you know, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.